The White Snoop and T-Rose Show, starring the White Snoop and T-Rose.
Tweet us during the show using the hashtag Snoop Show.
The White Snoop and T-Rose Show.
And welcome back, everybody. This is the White Snoop and T-Rose Show. Of course, on the White Snoop, here's T-Rose. What are you looking for? The third guy?
The third guy.
Yeah.
One
Show is on the outside. I got the on my right. We got the and sign in between us. No, we don't. But, yeah, we're here, of course. On the last show, along with lots of other stuff, we talked about, the trade deadline and some guys getting bought out. This show.
Some guys getting bought out too late.
Well, yeah. Well, we didn't talk about that yet.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there today. We are going to talk about the guys that were bought out and some of their new homes. But first, we want to go over, of course, the theme of the year, it seems, injuries. Drew Holiday, who we talked about in previous show, has been out. He's officially been named out for the season. So we're not going to be seeing him coming back.
Really, not much of a shocker. The Pelicans aren't really going anywhere, so it's not.
They're about the future right now.
Yeah. So what do they need to rush him back for?
Exactly. So yeah, we're not going to see him for the remainder of the season. I do want to mention too. Speaking of being out for the season, just want to throw this out there. One other guy that was named out for the season was Derrick Rose, and of course he left the door open for if they make the playoffs. I just want your quick opinion. Do you think he should just stay out for the season, or do you think it's worth coming back for the playoffs now that the Bulls are going to have a mid-seed?
I guess the only one that really knows the answer to that question is Derrick Rose. Me? I mean, I would like to see him come back, but only if he's truly ready. I mean, if he thinks he's, if he comes back like half conked and just to try to make like a run at the title and he gets injured again, I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, obviously, like the basketball fan in me would like to see him back on the court, but logically, if he's not ready to come, if he's not 100%, and we'll never know.
Yeah.
But the thing about Derrick Rose, it's no matter what he does, he's never going to make anybody happy. Because if he gets hurt again, you and I both know people who criticize him for not playing, and if he tries to play and he gets hurt, they're going to kill him anyway. Yeah. So in a way, he should probably. I mean, it's kind of it's like 50-50. I mean, should he try to play if he thinks he can help him? Sure, but like I said, if he gets hurt, they're going to clown him anyway. So
I feel like he's in a position where he just really wants to play. Like he's been out for most of the past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And kind of like what you said, as a basketball fan, of course I'd love to watch Derrick Rose play basketball. Who wouldn't? I mean, the guy's phenomenal. But I think I do think that it's smarter for him to just continue on the rehab train, and I know he's talking about playing for Team USA. I don't even think he should do that.
Oh, why? Yeah, why would he do that?
I mean, I know he's supposed to be healthy by May-ish.
Yeah,
they're saying, which is why he was named out for the season, which means that he would be healthy for Team USA.
Yeah, but why? Yeah.
Why risk it?
Yeah.
I think that he should stay out until next season.
Can you imagine the ridicule he'd get if he played for Team USA and got hurt playing for them?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And then the ripple effect that can have on teams not wanting their players to play for Team USA at that point. Oh, yeah. If guys get hurt. But
we can ask a couple NHL owners how they feel about that. A couple of their guys, couple guys went down for the season, best top players down for the season in the Olympics. So ask them how they feel. Some of them might own NBA teams. They'll tell you all about it.
Okay, same question, different guy. Kobe Bryant. Right now, he's still out.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I mean,
I think it's the same thing. As a basketball fan, of course, I would love to watch Kobe Bryant play.
Yeah.
And I know he wants to get out there. But this team's not even going to be in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, obviously.
There's not a chance in hell.
No. we'll get to them later on.
Now you don't want to just clown him now.
No, we can wait. They can wait. No, I mean it's the same thing. It's unless he's fully. I mean, unless he's 110% ready to go. But like you said, it's just I don't know.
Well,
I don't know why.
I think the biggest difference is at least Derrick Rose is going to be in the playoffs. It's like what would Kobe be playing for?
Well, wait, are we talking playing for Team USA?
No. No, Kobe Bryant's already not playing for Team USA.
You're saying Kobe's gonna try to come back this year
for the Lakers? Yeah.
Oh, why are we even talking about this?
Because he's talking about it.
Wow.
He's getting evaluated at the end of the month.
Wow. He must be really bored at home. He must need like stuff to do.
No, he is.
Okay.
This is a guy that played injured in a preseason game.
So they can only lose by 20 instead of 40. Yeah. I mean, what does he have to gain?
But what if he accidentally helps them win? He can hurt their draft pick.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I'm like, yeah. Why would he? Yeah, Kobe, stay home, Kobe, for the best interest of the Lakers. Stay home. Don't just stay home.
And the final injury, and he's also said to be out for the rest of the regular season, but should be back for the playoffs. Is J.J. Redick? Obviously, the Clippers are missing him, 3-point shooting and everything, and which is obviously the reason why they brought him on, because they really need a shooter, and now he's not there. It's kind of thrown the rhythm of the Clippers. I mean, not that they're playing bad,
Yeah,
but
no, definitely.
He's definitely nice to have, though.
Yeah, no, he'll be, if he's ready to go come playoff time, that'll be good for them. Like I said, 3-point shooting. He's a decent defender. He gets the job done out there. He does.
There's worse.
Yeah, way worse. But he does. But
there's better.
Well, that too.
But there's worse.
Yeah. So, help spread the floor for those guys, and he'll be key when he comes back.
Absolutely.
Always had a soft spot for J.J. Redick.
Yeah. He's a Duke guy.
Well, yeah, but
I know. A lot of people, Duke fans, they love their guys.
Yeah,
Duke, North Carolina, UConn. Those are three colleges I find that they really stick by their players.
Yeah. They put a lot of guys. I mean, and all the guys don't have to be superstars. I mean, we can.
Well, I'm not saying superstars.
We can go. Yeah, I mean, they put guys in the league. Role players, superstars. Good players. So.
Yeah. Sticking with the Clippers, we mentioned at the top of the show the recent buyouts. The Clippers, got to sign one of the guys. You've probably heard of him. His name's Danny Granger. Signed on. He was looking for a team that can, possibly contend for a title, where he would play a significant role and get some minutes. And the Clippers, in general, can use somebody, that can play his position. I think with the injury of J.J. Redick, is going to open up even more floor time for him.
Yeah, if he can be any of the Danny Granger of old, this helps them.
Yeah.
So it'd be one of those things. Well, we'll see what he's got left in the tank. He had that bad knee injury, missed the entire year, came back this year. He was okay, but I don't know. Really. So yeah.
In Indiana, he was coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Of course, Paul George is now the guy.
Yeah.
Lance Stevenson, is getting more touches and stuff. It was a different team that he was coming back to, and of course he's coming off an injury. You can't discount that. Nobody comes back from an injury, of significance, and just balls out the door. That's
after missing the entire year, definitely. Yeah. So we'll have to see how that.
If somehow he returns to the Danny Granger of old, these Clippers are going to be dangerous with Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, and and the cast they have around them. I would not want to play them. But, like you said, he doesn't necessarily even have to be that good for this team to contend.
Yeah.
As a team, they still have to continue to improve on defense. Blake Griffin, he's young. He's still improving, which is dangerous all on its own. The fact that he's not as good as he's going to be, most likely. And, if he can just do enough to contribute. And right now, from... it seems like Danny Granger's going to be coming off their bench to try to give their bench a boost that they really needed, and your boy Hito Turkoglu isn't really giving them. Hey, I know how big of a fan you are. Big Hito guy right here. big Hito guy. Loves him.
Does Otis Smith get a shout out on that? Does he get a shout out?
Why, you're not a Hito guy? I mean, he was brought in to try to stretch the floor. I mean, Hito, Danny Granger can't really play the 4, but they want him to kind of come in, play the 4, stretch the floor out, create some offense off the bench.
Maybe he can still handle the ball, even half as good as he did in 09 when he was, we'll see. And they still got, Jake, they still have Crawford come off the bench, so a lot of, so yeah, no, that's a scary squad if they put it together.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if Danny Granger can just remind us of how good he was, that could be enough to kind of put this team into the contention. Maybe make the conference finals. Maybe even, take that step. I guess we'll see. No?
No, it was just thinking of Laker fans when you made that statement. Sorry. Anyway, moving on.
You just want to get that out? Because you feel like it's burning inside you.
Oh, man.
I read somewhere, speaking of this, sorry to go off topic, but we do that here. I read somewhere that, I forgot exactly how it was worded, but it went something like, if you look back, the Clippers hanging those banners up doesn't really seem as funny anymore. And then it followed up with something to the effect of, I wonder how respected Nick Young feels.
Wow.
It was written right after that game.
Oh, that was the game? You call it a game? More like a drubbing.
Game.
More like a drubbing. Man. Anyway, moving on.
If you told me 10 years ago that this would be the conversation we're having, I would have probably laughed in your face.
I agree. and I'd be laughing too.
Yeah. I was just kidding.
At myself. Yeah. Wow.
Wow. So, speaking of small forwards going to title contending teams, you like that transition there? Caron Butler, who was released by the lowly Milwaukee Bucks, and I'm sure he had a celebration drink that night right before he flew to Oklahoma City, where he is now playing for the Thunder, which definitely can help them coming off the bench. Yeah,
no, I mean, I'm sure he's got a little left in the tank. I mean, he's going to help. I mean, obviously.
There's only one thing I got really mad at, and I just want to make sure this is clear for people. I know you know this because, we've had this discussion, but I was watching an NBA analyst talk. When you watch these guys, you sit there and you just assume that they know what they're talking about. But I legit heard this guy, and I'm not going to name his name because I don't want to ruin his credibility, because I actually like him. But he actually said, he goes, Caron Butler is a nice pickup for the Thunder. He was a piece of that championship team in Dallas in 2011. And I was like, you might want to check your notes, because he was actually injured most of the season and throughout the entire playoffs.
Didn't he get hurt toward like the end of the year?
No.
Was it early?
It wasn't even.
Was it early?
Early mid. It was not the end.
Okay, yeah.
Might have been the middle of the season.
He had the knee injury. His like kneecap was like.
He played for a good part of the season.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But he was out for a significant part of the regular season, not just like a couple weeks or something. And then he missed the entire playoff run.
Yeah, I know.
Which is when you win the title.
Listen, you're not telling me anything I don't know. Well, shout out to whoever that analyst was.
I'll tell you off the record.
Yeah, we won't clown you on our show.
No,
because we don't have enough time, because we have
enough people
we have to clown.
Yeah.
So moving
that's
on.
coming up later in the show.
So moving on.
I just want to make sure that was clear to people that although he has a ring, he didn't actually play in the playoffs. But
him and I mean, we can come up with a dummy list of people.
But the difference between him and those players is, had he actually played, he would have been.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he was a good player. I mean, he can still contribute, and there's a chance that I think he wants to redeem himself in that sense. I mean, I remember reading in an interview that he said that he still wants to win, another ring that he actually feels more a part of. He didn't really feel like he earned that ring, and he does want another one. And I don't blame him. So, this is obviously a really good opportunity. The Oklahoma City, arguably the best team in the West, alongside, the San Antonio Spurs, which are obviously in that conversation. But, it gives him, a significant, chance to, be a part of something. The Thunder, of course, could win the title, and if he's a part of it, now he has a ring that he can actually be proud of and display in his home. So, and since we were talking about colleges, the UConn fans can be happy.
Yeah, UConn.
So a little shout out to the Huskies.
Another UConn guy.
Yeah. Now I feel like we have to shout out a North Carolina guy at some point.
I'm sure.
Let's make it random though.
We'll get.
You can't just think of it.
We'll get somebody.
So moving on, one more, slightly less profile to those guys. Jimmer Fredette.
The Jimmer.
Yeah, he signed a contract in Chicago. After being bought out by the Sacramento Kings, where, honestly, he really wasn't doing anything anyway. It's an interesting pickup. Of course, we don't know what this means for the future. He does have one thing that the Chicago Bulls desperately need, and that's the ability to shoot.
Yeah, and this is kind of like a little audition for him to see what he can do for any possible shooters over the off season. Like I said, he's got that ability to shoot the ball, and so we'll see. We'll see. How many minutes he gets and how
what
well
he does
and what he does. So we'll see.
He does already have a Bulls record, by the way.
Really?
You didn't hear this one?
No, I didn't hear this one.
Okay, you ready? And by the way, the person who had the record before him, Michael Jordan. So he knocked off a pretty big name. I'm sure you guys know who Michael Jordan is. I'd hope so. Jimmer Fredette now holds the Chicago Bulls franchise record for fastest points scored in his debut game playing for the Bulls.
All right.
I forget what the exact number was, but
All right.
It just registered in my head that I remember hearing that. He only scored 2 points in that game, but he got a record. Does that count for something? You like how I hyped that up?
Wow.
For a record that nobody's going to care about?
Wow. Anyway.
Nobody. Can you imagine he retires and they're like, oh yeah, Jimmer Fredette. He came off the bench. He played for a couple different teams, and oh yeah, he does hold that Bulls record. Fastest point scored on your debut. Talk about stuff that'll not get you into the basketball hall.
I was going to say Jimmer for the Hall right now. I was going to say it. Oh, man. All right. Anyway. Wow.
Did you like how I hyped that, though? Somebody thought I was going to say something crazy. They're like, wow, I really have to go back and watch it? Oh, that was it? Never mind.
Well, at least you won't have to watch that much.
Yeah, it's a really quick thing.
Yeah.
He only took 2 shots in that game. I think it was 2 points. He had something else. I don't know. He didn't really do anything that significant besides set the record. So moving on to another point guard that switched homes. Of course, Beno Udrih. He signed in Memphis. Memphis right now is not technically in the playoffs. I think they're going to make it though. I want to throw this out there. Memphis at number 9. I think they're going to still make it. I think they're going to make the push. I'm sure you remember they were out. What kind of took them out of the running was that time when Marc Gasol was out. They had a lot of struggles. And, of course, it's a very, very tight race. I don't know how you feel about this. But I think it's going to be the Suns are going to end up in that ninth spot on the outside.
Ooh, that's a tough one. It's possible. Is Gerald Green going to score 41 every night?
Probably not.
How about that?
Although Goran Dragic.
Oh, he's balling. That's why. Yeah, that's a tough one.
And Bledsoe's been out too.
Yeah.
And then there's always the question when he comes back. How we talked about earlier in the show. Nobody comes balling out the gate. Is he going to struggle? Can it affect the rhythm? All these things. And that's even if he comes back.
The Suns have a lot of guys who's playing good ball. Like the Morris twins are playing good. They have a lot of guys.
Although Bledsoe and Dragic. Dragic's been their guy all year. Bledsoe was their guy as long as he was healthy.
Yeah. They have a lot of guys that couldn't play other places that are.
Everybody's kind of stepping up.
Yeah, like I said, the Morris twins are playing good. Dragic is going out of his mind. I don't know. That's a tough one.
You want to know what the Suns are definitely going to do this season? Give Jeff Hornacek a reason to be coach of the year.
I agree. I mean, obviously, yeah.
I mean, there's always, a couple of great options, but I definitely would not be mad if Jeff Hornacek won.
No.
Because he's done. It's funny, at the beginning of the year, I mean, us included, everybody had the Suns.
Yeah.
I have to admit, and I always, as I watch the Suns play, I'm like, I can't believe I said this.
Could they be the worst team?
Yeah.
I had it between them and Philly.
Yeah.
And the Sixers are making us look. At least the Sixers are making us look good.
I mean, the Sixers might not be the worst team, but at least they're giving it a run.
They're making us look real good right now.
All since we're on the topic of the Sixers, just for fun, the Sixers might not have the worst record. You remember they went in that hot start? They beat the Heat. They were 7-3 or something with the beginning of the season. There were them and the Suns were killing everybody, and everybody kind of thought both teams were going to drop off, and eventually Philly did.
Dropped. Oof.
They hit a canyon. But they've not only lost by 40 points on multiple occasions, setting multiple we suck records. I mean, to the point where I was telling you before the show, I remember recently they only lost by 20 points in one game. They only lost by 20. I think it was against Cleveland, too, who also sucks. And I was like, they only lost by 20. That's not too bad. And somebody nearby was like, not that, but they lost by 20. And I was like, come on, this is the Sixers. They've been losing by 40.
I think they're like on an 18-game losing streak, too. I remember seeing that on the TV today.
And,
I don't know what to say. So, like I said, they're making us look good.
The only trophy that has a chance of going to Philadelphia this year
is what the little card you get, that the envelope with the card that says you won the
real trophy.
lottery. Oh, there's a trophy. Oh boy, can't wait to hear.
No, this isn't a joke. No, it really isn't. It's not a joke. I'm not hyping you up for a joke.
Okay, what is it?
Rookie of the year.
Oh yeah.
Michael Carter-Williams is definitely in the running.
Oh, definitely.
And I just told you everything good about the 76ers.
All right. So moving on.
Although
are we done with the Sixers? Are we done beating the Sixers up that?
No. Number one, in good news, they do have Michael Carter-Williams, who could be Rookie of the Year. Nerlens Noel has not played, and he's going to start next year.
Yeah.
And they're guaranteed a top 5 pick.
Yeah, no, it's...
Most likely to be a top 3. Depending on how the lottery balls pop.
You hope.
Well, I'm not a Sixers fan.
No.
But, and I hope for their sake. But, on one final note, although they may not be the worst record, there's another one. Although they might not have the worst record in the NBA, they did lose by over 30 to the team with the worst record in the NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks. And a gentleman fell asleep courtside. How bad was that game?
The game was in Milwaukee, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, it had to be. Oh.
How terrible is that?
The Bucks.
And there was probably more people in this room than there was at that game, especially awake.
The Bucks.
So back to NBA news. That was our D-League update. Do you think the Sixers would be better in the D-League, maybe?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, the NBA does want to develop it.
So just put two of its teams in there and let them go. I can see that.
It's funny, the 76ers, I have one more 76ers joke. The 76ers in the last 2 seasons have had 2 All-Stars that have played 0 games.
Oh, man.
No bobblehead nights, though.
Oh. Damn.
They didn't even have time to make the Danny Granger bobblehead. He was out so fast. He stopped by to sign his way out. He got his Philly cheesesteak to go. 76. Also, in good news for Philadelphia, though, there's only one other thing, and it's about their past. I know you know where I'm going with this. Allen Iverson had his jersey retired.
Yeah.
I mean, we all kind of hoped the day would come. I mean, we talked about him before the season started. You know, I know we're talking about retirement. Talking about retirement. We're talking about jerseys hanging. And I'm sure one day he'll make it to the Basketball Hall of Fame. And with it 7 years? I mean, when do they count with him? I mean, which retirement?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, does it start from when, like, he really retired, or from when he finally realized it and announced it?
I don't know. Who knows?
So, I mean, it's 2014 now. I mean, by 2021, it's 7 years from now. Because I think he's going to be first ballot. I mean, he was amazing. We'll be talking about him going to the Basketball Hall of Fame. What other jersey went up, since we're on this topic? Big Z. Going up in Cleveland.
Yeah, no, nice gesture by Cleveland.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, a lot of eyebrows were raised as LeBron was courtside. And then they showed a picture of him in his suite.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I guess that's the Dan Gilbert. Hey, I didn't mean all those mean things I said about you.
No, you just made me think of. This is no. This is the first banner raised in Cleveland since LeBron James left. Dan Gilbert promised that he'd raise a banner. It wasn't faster than LeBron got one.
Oh man,
but he finally got one.
We're killing him.
Good job, Danny. You should have retired it faster.
We're killing him.
We have too much fun, I think.
We're on a roll right now. We gotta keep going.
I'm glad that we're on this roll.
Because my joke.
Because you know what team we have to talk about next.
Uh-oh.
No, the good one's not yet.
Oh, okay.
But we have to make one quick stop at one of our other favorite places. Charlotte. You already know why.
Yeah.
Charlotte Bobcats.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, man. This doesn't even get a shout out. This should be like a. This is like a mini high five award. Like they just did Ben Gordon so dirty. It's like all of their teams released their players early enough for them to be able to sign with a team to be playoff eligible.
Yeah, the guys that we just talked about.
And they waited till like a day after to release Ben Gordon, so his season's over. They must have watched the show and heard us talking about how Ben Gordon could go like to a team like the Heat or a team like that to help him off the bench. They must have heard us. Yeah. They must have like watched our show.
Like, could you imagine how much he can help like the Heat, for an example?
Yeah. So they must have heard my analysis of him, backing up D Wade, and so they did him dirty. It was like
at least we know Mike's watching.
Yeah, it was like a day after too. Like, what? They really did that to this guy? Yeah. Come on, man. I don't know.
Maybe NBA owners watch the show. I did send a copy to James Dolan on Twitter. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh.
it was the day after there was some news about him like reading people's tweets. I was like, oh, maybe James Dolan will read this one.
Oh, anyway.
I sent him the analysis of how he can improve the Knicks.
Anyway, yeah. So that's my gripe for the day. My gripe for the show. They did Ben Gordon dirty. So his season's over.
Poor guy. Another shout out to UConn.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he was very good there.
Yeah.
Number two overall pick.
I don't remember.
I think
to be honest. I'll agree with you.
Or no, three. A Mecca than him.
Oh yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, you can't forget a Mecca.
Hey, he was a great college player.
He was.
So, anyway.
He's all right in the NBA.
Yeah,
I mean, he's hurt right now.
Yeah. So, all right. Anyway.
Could be interesting to see if he goes somewhere. Just a random thought. He's hurt. His contract, it's insured this year, which is, I found out, I meant to tell you that. Remember, we always wonder why the Marching Quartet Mecca Okafor's deal was made? Because they're both centers and making the same amount of money. Well, that's what it was. Phoenix can dump that for less money.
Oh, there you go.
That's a little side note for you guys.
Yeah, so.
But moving forward, the Knicks.
Oh.
First update is One. We're talking about buyouts.
Okay.
There's one other guy that they bought out. Ben Udrih, we already mentioned, went to Memphis. I mean, and then there's Meta World Peace, who's not on the team yet.
And who, obviously, his season's over, too.
Is that,
are you
don't
really,
think
are,
anybody?
Are
think
you,
there's going to be any takers?
are you surprised? I mean, he didn't do anything. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what else there is to say. But, I mean, well, there is a lot to say about the Knicks, but some stuff that we haven't said already. But there's some other news regarding the Knicks.
Which one do you want to talk about first? There's a lot of news.
This Phil Jackson thing just blows my mind.
I wasn't sure if you're going to talk about him or the other one.
This Phil Jackson, it just blows my mind.
Well, Phil Jackson, my favorite.
I'll let you. I don't even know. Like when when I heard, I actually thought it was like a joke. Like he's really like basketball operations. Like,
Yeah.
what is he?
Well, the funny part is actually right before that. I mean, you remember all the Knick fans, have been saying we want Phil for a long time, and then logical people like us keep going, guys, stop. Like, Phil's not going to coach the Knicks.
Yeah.
And it was funny because the Knicks prior to the president of basketball operations, apparently they offered him a coaching job. And according to everything I read, it went something like, hey, Phil, we have this head coaching. No, thank you, guys. I'm not interested. I guess the conversation wasn't that long. But that alone made the news, and every Knicks fan started talking about it. And it was like, you got the part where he said no, right? And then, of course, the next day it comes out that he got offered this, president of basketball operations gig that he is currently considering. And the latest that I've read is that he's very highly considering it, and it's most likely actually going to happen. I mean, he hasn't said yes yet.
Man.
But it's leaning towards that.
Okay, so he's possibly going to get a team with that. I mean, let's
Which
face
is a
it.
cap disaster for another season.
But let's face it. I would say there's a 50-50 chance that Melo won't be there next year. So
now, do you think that having Phil Jackson increases the chances of Melo staying?
No, I don't think so.
I disagree with you.
I don't think so. This is Melo we're talking about here.
But we're going to agree to disagree.
That's fine, but you already know.
You don't have to agree on everything.
You're right, but you already know how I feel about Melo. Once his mind's made up, that's it. I mean, who knows?
I think Melo from the start was already looking at. I mean, I don't care what he says, in the media, because he comes out and says, "Oh, I want to test free agency. I want to retire a Knick." Contradictory statements. I don't care how much he talks about taking a pay cut. I think Melo's going to sign a 5-year, $129 million deal and stay in New York and stay with the Knicks.
Okay. Hey, listen.
I've been saying that since the beginning. I don't care if I end up being wrong. That's what I think. For exactly what you said. I mean, he's just that type of guy. He's a selfish guy, and he seems like he's all about the money. He forced his way to Denver because he wanted to be in his home, which is New York, and get all of his money. Because remember, that was before the CBA, and there was a lot of threat that he wasn't going to get all that money, if he left on his own. Remember, the threat of the new CBA was that it was going to, he was going to be losing, 30, 40, $50 million, which is a lot of money. And I think he wants that money, and he already wasn't thinking about leaving. And I think you bring in a guy like Phil Jackson, who, granted, he's never held this position before. I mean, let's admit to that first. But even though he was only a head coach, he had a strong hand in deciding, what players he wanted, what players to keep, what players to get, and because he has a certain style that he was looking for.
Oh yeah, obviously.
And he wanted to help pick players. So it's not like, even though he's never held the position, it's not like he doesn't kind of know what he's doing. And I mean, it at least gives you some faith. I mean, I think the only chance he has, though, of succeeding is James Dolan has to stop interjecting. Because James Dolan's already proven that he doesn't know what he's doing. Just be honest.
Is that recent?
I'm just saying over time.
Yeah.
He proves it time and time again.
Well, I'll tell you what.
And I think if James Dolan just goes, okay, here's my checkbook, and just signs a bunch of checks and says, here you go, Phil, get whoever you need.
Whoa. Well, could happen. I don't know. Well, we'll see.
They play in the Mecca. They can spend money.
You're right.
I'm not saying they got to spend Mikhail Prokhorov money, but they can.
No.
They could go over the luxury tax. Maybe not have a $200 million payroll, but they could go into the luxury tax a little bit. $75-80 million. Regular spending. But it's like, but he kind of has to, hand the keys over to Phil and just say, look, Phil, you actually know what you're talking about in basketball. I don't. Because he doesn't. And Phil does. And that has to be done. I think that's the only chance Phil has.
So, if Phil gets a job, does JR let him drive his truck? Is that's going to be the
JR could be his new chauffeur.
that's going to be the closing. That's going to be
Phil's a good guy. They can throw him in the back. He's probably comfortable.
That's going to be the closing. That's going to be the closing in the deal.
Yeah. For the amount JR is getting paid, he could pick up Phil before.
Oh, they picked him up from the airport in a truck. Were you kidding me?
That's what I'm saying. They can pick him up.
Oh shoot! I had to do that.
Let him drive the bulletproof car.
I had to.
Make sure that he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, he might have to drive the bulletproof car for a little while, at least the first couple years anyway, because they are capped out. So so he definitely has his work cut out for him if he
takes a job, he definitely has his work cut out for him.
And it's not going to be a quick fix either.
Well, that's the other thing. There is no quick fix because who the fuck's out there?
That too.
There's not going to be a line at the door trying to get Amari Stoudemire, Andrea Bargnani, Tyson Chandler, if they try to dump these guys. There's no saying that they're definitely trying to dump them. There's a chance that Phil keeps them, for the expiring deals too. But it's like, I just find it hard to believe. There's not a person in the world that can flip this Knicks team in a year. It's near impossible.
It's a 2-3 year project.
Yeah. So he kind of has to have a long-term plan.
At the minimum.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years.
So he has to have kind of a long-term plan in set. And then just...
A lot of patience.
Stick to the plan.
And they have
develop the plan.
And they have to lock Dolan on a boat somewhere far, far away.
Like I said, we'll just call you when we need you to sign a check.
With no contact to with the team whatsoever.
Like I said, all he has to do is sign the checks. That's
right.
all they need Dolan to do going forward. Hopefully Phil can do it. I think, although, like I said, Phil's never held a job yet. None of us can guarantee that he's going to be good at it. I have more faith in Phil Jackson than I do in James Dolan.
Well, no, duh.
Or Isaiah Thomas, for that matter. Just to throw in a reference.
Whoa.
I don't think Phil will be worse than them, even if he can't do a great job. Even if he doesn't win a championship.
I don't think.
Or even get this team to the conference finals or the NBA finals.
I don't think we would be worse than Isaiah.
I don't think my mom would be worse than Isaiah. She's never watched basketball before. She could probably guess better than Isaiah.
Yikes. So, yeah.
Because she probably would go, oh, Eddie Curry has heart problems? Yeah, we probably shouldn't trade for this guy. Yeah. She wouldn't even look at the stats because she doesn't know what they mean.
Shout out to Jerome James.
Oh.
I had to. I couldn't help it. I had to.
You did it. Jerome James.
Remember that dude? He had like what, 2 dunks against the Spurs in playoffs. He has
some nice suits.
Well, yeah, when you're getting the full mid level or sitting on the bench, you should have nice suits. Him and Clyde shopped together. He went to the adorable side and Clyde went to the what the fuck is this side?
Wow.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Shout out to Jerome James. That just happened. That just happened.
He made all that money. He's out of the league now. He's set though. He's good.
I would love to get paid $5 million for courtside seats.
Was it like a 4-year deal? 4? Yeah. We might have to look that up. Look that up later on for a laugh.
You can. Any NBA team out there can sign me for $5 million to watch basketball courtside in a nice suit.
I don't think that's what they intended on me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yo, for $5 million, I'll be the best fan you ever had. I'll wear face paint shit if I have to.
I'm sure they thought he'd be able to play. Yikes. It's all the Spurs' fault for letting him get those dunks.
You think Jerome James sends him Christmas cards?
He should.
Wow.
Yeah, we
that
did.
just happened.
We did it. I told you I had jokes.
We've definitely had a couple.
Yeah, but so.
Damn.
Oh, so staying on the Knicks, our boy
Oh,
Raymond
that was another
Felton.
one.
Our boy Raymond Felton.
Raymond Felton.
Yeah, Felton. I know. I don't even know what to say. Like really. Yeah. We got to put that picture up.
Of the shots.
We have to. I'm sorry. We got to do it. Please, please get this done.
Raymond Felton. What is he thinking?
I don't know. Unregistered gun.
Just waving around.
Yeah. So, well, I guess when things hit rock bottom.
Good news is things can only go up from here. I mean, he's on a shitty team that everybody's clowning every chance they get.
Yeah, man.
Now he has a court date. See, the only thing I didn't understand is why they set the court date for June. Because Felton's going to be done working by mid-April.
Well, but that gives him a couple months to get his defense together after when his head's straight, So I don't know. So, yeah.
I was like, they know Felton's not really playing there for that long, right?
Wow.
The Knicks are... I'll just admit now, I don't even want to wait till the end of the season. I was wrong about the Knicks. I remember for like a couple shows in a row, I was like, they can't be this bad for that long. And they have been. They have been that bad for this long.
What are you going to do? It's alright. Yeah. Ugh. Whoa. Anyway.
Mike Woodson and Mike D'Antoni will be fired this offseason.
Yeah, don't they say? Well, I guess it depends. If Phil gets that job, definitely, because I know Dolan, like, he likes Woodson. So, if they bring in Phil, it's definitely happening. But if
Melo likes Woodson too.
Oh well, yeah. But if they bring in,
you don't think that if Melo and Dolan are sitting down and of course Melo wants to stay and he's like, hey man, like I want to stay and everything, but and I like Woodson. Dolan goes, yeah, I like Woodson too, and he goes, do you think maybe it's time for a change? You don't think Dolan will go, hey, really sorry, Woody, I like you, Melo likes you, but we're thinking it's time for a change.
I don't know. They got. Well, I don't know. Who knows? D'Antoni. You remember.
Part of it has to be that they need somebody to replace.
Was it the first show of the year? I didn't think D'Antoni would make the All-Star break. So I mean that blows my mind.
I think in both cases, I think what it is, I mean, nobody's coming to coach those teams.
No, that's true.
So it's kind of like.
But the only reason I said D'Antoni is because we knew, well, at least I knew, the Lakers were going to stink. Like, we knew it.
Well, yeah.
The Lakers were not going to be good.
We both said that they would have a long shot at an A seed when Kobe came back.
Now,
but Kobe not really.
Now, on the flip side, who in their right mind thought the Knicks would be this bad? Think about it.
I had them at the 5th seed.
And I had this conversation with somebody. They bought back.
You picked them to win the Atlantic.
I did. I'm just like
I had them at the 5th seed. I mean, I'm not.
No, listen. Think about this. And I had this conversation with somebody. They bought back basically the same team they had last year, except with 2 additions. They bought in Bargnani, and they drafted Tim Hardaway Jr. Mm-hmm. So in essence, they should actually be I'm not saying they should be better, but
they lost 2 important leaders.
Who?
Rasheed Wallace and Jason Kidd.
What did Rasheed Wallace do in New York, man?
The leadership.
Oh,
everybody in that locker room will tell you that his leadership was huge.
I'll give you Jason Kidd, but what did Rasheed Wallace do? He didn't do anything.
The Knicks were always better when he was there. Not necessarily playing.
Man. All right.
Even when he was on the bench, though.
Oh, man.
Anybody, go read about it. They talked about his leadership.
Okay. All right.
He won a ring, and he brought that leadership to the table.
Okay. All right.
I'm not saying that his play changed the game.
I'll take your word for it, but
I'm saying leadership.
Okay. If you say so, I'm.
It's not. I say so. It's the fact.
Okay, listen.
Go read.
Listen,
Everybody that was on that team will tell you.
Like you said, we don't have to agree on everything because.
But everybody on that team will tell you it was his leadership.
Okay, it was his leadership.
Just because he's crazy on the court doesn't mean he's a bad leader. I agree. The dude's crazy.
Okay. Listen, like it's like.
Why do you think he got a job as an assistant coach?
Like you always say, we can't agree on everything. So.
There was two leaders.
I'll give you Jason Kidd, but
there was two.
Rasheed
Wallace is a lot more important than you think.
Not sold on Sheed.
Rasheed Wallace is a lot more important than you think.
Okay, listen, I'm just gonna take your word for it and keep going
And they also lost Steve Novak. One of the big things that they were good at last year was hitting threes.
Well, yeah, no, listen, I agree with you, but
and I know we make fun of him.
No, listen,
but Chris Copeland was important for their bench.
Yeah, well, they let him.
I think they lost more than people think.
Yeah, no, that's true, but I just thought.
I actually think their roster last year was better.
You can say that.
I'm not saying a lot better, but I think it was better.
If you look at the guys they have on their team, there's a lot of talent on that squad, and it's just.
But I just think those four names.
And it's just all over.
Jason
the place.
Kidd, Rasheed Wallace, Chris Copeland, and Steve Novak, as role players, were important to what they did.
Okay.
I mean, also notice of those four names, 3 of them can pretty consistently hit a 3. Granted, 2 of them didn't play heavy minutes. Well, Jason Kidd played decent minutes. Rasheed Wallace didn't really play. Most of his contributions were in the locker room and practice. But Jason Kidd, played 20 minutes a game. He helped. Steve Novak put in his minutes. Knicks fans loved him because he did what he needed to do.
Yeah.
And Chris Copeland, he's not a terrible shot,
he was all right.
But he did a lot of other things.
Yeah. So
I think that they miss him more than they're willing to admit.
Yeah, but there's a lot of talent on that team, and it's just
I don't disagree with that.
Complete waste, and that's why no one thought they'd be this bad.
You want to know who's getting overlooked on this team because they're so bad, though? Kevin Martin's actually been, Kenya Martin. It's been pretty good for them. Granted, he only plays limited minutes, but when he comes in, he plays hard. He defends. He's actually getting them some.
He's always
buckets around the paint.
He's always been, So, are we done with the Knicks? Are we done? I mean, we've had Jerome James, Phil in the armored truck. Are we done, or is there anything?
Is there anything else to say? I mean, we already said in the last show, Tim Hardaway is the shining star of the future for that team. Remember, we gave props for not trading him. Melo's done his thing individually, but he's having a little trouble making his teammates better. I think that's probably the biggest knock on Melo right now. Which is why I think the leadership factor was so important. Because I think it's kind of shining through right now that Melo doesn't have that. Remember, the Nuggets were better when they had a different leader on the team. He wasn't necessarily the best player, but Chauncey Billups was the leader when that team really took off. I mean, Melo is a great individual player, but he needs somebody on that team to be, the leader to help everybody else. I think that's what, Jason Kidd and Rasheed Wallace did last season with the Knicks, what Chauncey Billups did in Denver with the Nuggets. It's tough. I mean, they're a mess right now. Oh, I feel so. Whenever I meet a Knicks fan, I'm like, sorry.
So anyway, whoa.
Speaking of New York, though, I just want to bring this up. I mentioned this off the show. I just want to throw this out there. Brooklyn obviously made the turnaround. They were off to a terrible start, 10-21. They're now in the playoff hunt. I think they're around the 6th seed the last time I checked. I think that they're flying so far under the radar right now. Because I forget exactly what they are, but there's something like 31-8 since the new year. Does that sound right? Or maybe not that high. Maybe it's like 25-8 or something. There's something like that. Like their record since the new year is good. And nobody's kind of paying attention to them right now. Because their record overall doesn't look good. Because of that terrible 10-21 start. And so it's like, they're hovering just over 500. But really, since the turn of the new year in the last, 2.5 months, they're actually winning, 3/4 of their games. And I think it's making them kind of do it unnoticed, which could be good for them. I think they're going to be one of the most dangerous teams besides the obvious Pacers and Heat.
I think people are paying attention to them. The only thing with the Nets is it's the thing with the Nets.
If the Nets were doing this all season,
oh well, yeah, well,
I
obviously.
mean, imagine if they were right now,
But the thing about the Nets is
40-20.
Yeah, but the thing about the Nets is they're only Darren Williams stepping on someone's foot. They're only like
Darren Williams can snap his ankle.
Well, that's what I mean. But they're only one little injury away from
let's
that
say
whole
they stay
thing
healthy.
falling apart. Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if they stay healthy. I mean, granted, they don't have Brook Lopez right now.
But that's the other thing I was going to say. I think I see them making at the.
No, I'm not saying they're going to do it.
At the very most, them going to the conference finals without. I don't think they'll win.
Oh no.
I see that's the farthest. That's the farthest I can see.
I'm just saying, and I don't think they will. I'm not going to pick them to win against these two teams. But out of all the other teams in the East, would you agree that the Brooklyn Nets are the team with the best shot of beating the Pacers or Heat in a 7-game series? The best shot.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I don't see any of the other teams doing it.
No, like I said, the
Toronto, Washington,
conference finals
Charlotte,
is the farthest that they're going to go.
Maybe sneak past one of them, but never both.
Yeah.
Because in the conference semis, they're playing.
Yeah, they're going to play one or the other.
Yeah. So you think at best they could possibly knock one, just never both.
Yeah, not both.
I don't think anybody's beating both.
Okay.
I don't think anybody's going to beat one.
Well, yeah, no, I agree with you, but that's the I mean.
I think the Nets. I think my conference semifinals. I think it's going to be. Besides obviously the Heat and Pacers, I think it's going to be between Toronto, Chicago, and Brooklyn. They're kind of like the next tier. I think Washington's kind of knocking on the door, and then you got Charlotte and I'm trying to remember the other team that's in the playoffs. I mean, in the East is
Yeah. So that's the way I see it. I can see them knock. I mean, I don't know. I mean, now you got me thinking about it a lot more, but. It wouldn't surprise me if they knocked off one of those.
Atlanta, that's the other one. Atlanta just hurt.
Because those guys, yeah, because like I said, it really depends on the health and how they're playing. Like if they go into the playoffs as hot, obviously they can beat anybody in a 7-game series. But I don't, like you said, I don't see.
But they're kind of locked in defensively finally.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And they're finally they're starting to have some an offensive rhythm. I think they can be really dangerous. Yeah. They're a team that. Even though you're going to pick the Heat or Pacers, the Heat or Pacers do not want them.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, because the other two teams that we mentioned, Toronto and Chicago, which are also likely to make the conference semifinals, at best they're winning 1, maybe 2 games, depending on the matchup. Toronto seems to match up well with Indiana. They might win 2 games. They're not going to win 4. Chicago, they can win 2 games against these guys. They're not winning 4. Brooklyn, I think, has enough talent that they can.
I can see Chicago giving the Pacers fits just with their defense.
Well, yeah.
I forget who said.
That's why I think they can win 2 games.
I forget who said it about the Pacers. Good team. They bring in Evan Turner, who's a good player. Mm-hmm. Doesn't really shoot the ball that well. Yeah, I can see the Bulls giving them fits.
Fits.
Yeah, like you said, win 2 games.
Yeah, I think. They still won against the Heat last season.
Maybe 3 if everything goes right.
Mm-hmm.
I said if everything goes right.
I don't even know if I'm willing to give them that.
Because
I'll stick to 2.
The only reason I say that is because Tom Thibodeau is a good game-to-game coach. He's
another guy in the running for Coach of the Year.
He's the adjustments, and that's the only reason I say that.
I agree.
So.
Thibodeau definitely in the running for Coach of the Year.
Again.
Are we surprised?
No.
I think Thibodeau and Popovich are pretty much, they're in the running from the beginning of the season before we started. And then just throughout the season, you keep coming up with the reasons with why. Jeff Hornacek is more the surprise run. I know a lot of people are giving Dwayne Casey a lot of credit, too, because of the Toronto run, ever since the Rudy Gay trade. Yeah. There's definitely a couple guys.
Frank Vogel will get love.
Oh, yeah. He definitely deserves it, too.
Yeah, he'll get some love. Guy in Charlotte will get some. He'll get some honorable mention. Guy in Charlotte.
No, who doesn't? Who's not going to get love that I think should? No, I don't think he's going to get any love. I just think he should. Yeah. Coach Spo. I don't think he should win it, but I don't think he gets mentioned enough.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, but yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the thing is, they always say he's coaching a super team, so he's not allowed to get Coach of the Year consideration.
And I can disagree with that.
I agree with you too, but I'm just saying. See, we agree on some.
Because we agree on some things.
Yeah, there are some things.
I just said we don't have to agree on everything. I just think I think, number one, managing a super team is obviously not easy because remember, a lot of guys failed before Phil Jackson succeeded. For an example. I mean, that's why Phil Jackson considered great.
Yeah. No, but I don't.
Even Doug Collins tried to coach Michael Jordan before him and couldn't figure it out. Everybody tries to make Phil's job look easy, but Doug Collins is a great coach. Did not win a championship with Mike. Phil came in, said, "Hey, let's do this."
Yeah, but that team was garbage when Doug Collins was there. They weren't good. Yeah, but the team was trash, though, bro.
Phil also had a hand in picking the guys. Good luck to the Knicks. No, but you know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah,
and
I
then
agree.
The Lakers, Phil coached the same team. Like, they didn't really make a lot of tweaks to that team when Phil kind of just said, "Oh, this is the roster, let's go with it." And all of a sudden, they rattle off 3 championships in a row. And then he leaves. When he came back the second time, they kind of made some more tweaks for him. But the first time around, that first repeat that he won with the Lakers, it's the same team that the guys failed with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's why Coach Bo does deserve credit. The reason why I think he deserves more credit this year, though, is the grind.
And Dwayne Wade not being there.
Managing Dwayne Wade. But they've been to the finals 3 straight years.
Yeah, but you know what's sad about Spo? He's never going to get... I mean, you hear everybody. He's never going to get the full props for being a good coach because of the team he's got. There are still people that give him no... There's still
I'm just saying that it's unfair.
I know it. I'm just saying. There are still people that don't give him any respect at all as far as being one of the better coaches. So
I think those people are wrong.
Yeah, that's fine. Listen, just saying how it is. So,
Fine.
see, are there any other topics we want to? Try to think. Is there anything else? Any other honorable mentions that we need to throw out there?
We talked about the guy sleeping, Jared's truck.
I'm trying to think. No, Phil driving JR's truck. You can't forget.
Well, I just mean that we always mention Jared's truck.
Can't leave that out. Phil driving it. How funny would that be? Big ass truck pulling up to like MSG, and Phil getting out of it. Just picture it. Just picturing that.
That'd be funny if that was like in Phil's demands. Like, I want JR's truck.
Yeah. Right.
Not to drive it. He just wants the truck.
Yeah, that would be kind of funny.
It's like, hey, JR, are you willing to give up your truck to get Phil?
Yeah. Oh shoot! So
I think we hit on everything. Just think of any other random notes that we should mention.
No, not really. Just the usual. There's a lot of MVP banter going on right now, which always brings up interesting debate.
I mean, the Edge is still at Kevin Durant, but LeBron keeps going out trying to remind everybody.
Yeah. And then,
he's certainly not out of it.
No, I don't think. No, definitely.
I don't think the race is a blowout.
I don't know.
That race is not a Sixers game yet.
So who's your number 3?
Ooh.
That's a tough one because I haven't really been able to think about it either. Because you remember I said that, the thing is like remember the first show at the beginning of the year I said Curry would be in there, but they started out, the Warriors started out hot and they're still playing good, but they kind of tapered off a little bit, so he's not in there. Who else do we met? I'm trying to think. Well, obviously we
he's
had
not my number 3.
Well, obviously we had Melo in there, but we didn't think the Knicks would be terrible.
We mentioned Chris Paul. He's kind of in the race. I wouldn't give him number 3 though.
It's hard.
Then Paul George is obviously in the race. I don't think I'm willing to give him number 3 though.
Yeah, it's tough. I've heard a lot of analysts throw out all. No, just a bunch of names. I've heard people say.
Before you mention the name, just thinking off the top of my head, my number 3 right now. I'm gonna go and it's close, I'm going to go LaMarcus Aldridge.
And he's one of the guys.
That's why I figured that's why I wanted to say it.
He's one of the guys.
But you know, I was already thinking it.
He's one of the guys. Blake Griffin, man, they're giving. I don't know why. I mean,
I don't know why.
They're giving him a lot of love, though. You know, I forget who it was.
He deserves more love for Most Improved.
I mean, guys, and it's guys that we like.
Yeah.
Like,
so I think it's stupid because he's not even the most valuable player on his team. So how can he be the most valuable player in the NBA?
Listen, I'm just telling you. Aldridge, Griffin.
That's like saying
a couple people.
That's like saying a
couple people.
It's like Russell Westbrook's the best player in the NBA. It's a similar thing. Russell, if you say that, it's like, how can you say that? He's not the best player on his own team.
I agree. Listen, I heard. I'm just telling you what. I'm just telling you what they're talking about.
And the best player on his team isn't even considered the best player on the NBA.
So no, it's just it's crazy. I don't know. Let me see who else. Who else's name have I heard? Paul George, obviously.
Yeah. Chris Paul should be getting some love.
What
Tony Parker seems to have fallen out of that race.
Yeah,
I mean not completely, but you know what I mean.
Like, someone. I forget
last
who
year
it
he was in the one of the top players getting named. And
I forget who it was. Somebody was given. I think it was because he had a couple monster games. James Harden, because he had a couple monster games, and he was. I mean, let's face it. I mean, Dwight's there. I know Dwight's good, but he's kind of.
But if you think about it, James Harden already had that team pretty good.
Yeah, no.
Dwight Howard's lifted him a little bit, but.
Yeah. So.
I'm sorry, Dwight. James is the MVP on that team.
No, not a question about it. No question. So, it'll be interesting to see who wins it, because this year it's going to be interesting to see who gets it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Kevin Durant's got to be the front runner right now, but like you said, there's how many games left?
Yeah, and like
yeah,
LeBron is right there.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps trying to knock that 62-point game too.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because it was Charlotte.
But Charlotte's the number 6 defense in the NBA.
I know, but you know what it is? It's Charlotte. That's what people think. And
so should anything that happens against the Clippers not matter because they sucked 10 years ago?
No, you're right.
You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Let's look at the here and now.
Even though that same now the people that now we know people. Now we personally know people. They kill LeBron for the 62-point game against Charlotte. But this guy Paul George, who's been a monster all season, he goes out, plays against him a couple nights later, goes 0 for 9, 2 points. Just throwing that out there.
It's hard to score. Good defense.
He's a superstar, right?
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
Hey, you don't got to convince me. I think what LeBron did was.
So it's another thing,
I had a feeling that game was coming too. I remember I told you at the beginning, when Durant started knocking these games down, and he was like, "Man, I could go out there and score 60." I was like, "Damn, this dude's gonna go out there and score 60." I knew he was gonna do it. I knew they were gonna walk into one game because he was gonna wait for the right time. That's all he was doing. He was waiting. He wasn't gonna drop 30, try to take 30 shots on a night that he wasn't feeling it. He was gonna wait. He's going to wait till it felt like he was shooting into an ocean and say, "Hey, sorry, guys. I'm going to pass a little less, and I'm going to drop 60 tonight." And everybody on the team, because, they're like a family, everybody on that team's going to go, "Get that 60, dog." And
Shane Battier was like, "Well, I'll be in the corner if you need me."
Yeah. Bosh is like, "I'll set the picks if you need them."
Exactly.
Dwayne's like, "I'll wear a suit."
I know. He didn't even play.
No, he didn't.
So I'll look good. I'll look good on the bench.
I'll high five you every time you come for a timeout.
Man. How about Westbrook? What do you get? The fastest triple? Was it the fastest triple double?
Yeah, the fastest triple double.
He's not that good either.
Yeah, he's all right.
They
can I tell you?
They got to trade him.
The trade talks have been all I'm not saying in the NBA, but fan wise. I've heard so many people try to give me a logic on why Russell. You want to know the best trade I've ever heard? I got to tell you guys this one. Somebody told me that the Thunder have to trade Russell Westbrook because he's leaving in 2 years when he's a free agent. Okay? Now here's the best part. Is they already know where he should be traded to.
2 years though.
Yeah.
Didn't he just? Anyway.
He's a free agent in 2 years.
Is he really?
Yeah. 2016.
When did he? When did he? No, really? Is he really a free agent in 2 years?
Yes.
Wow, it's really been 3 years since he re-signed there.
Yeah.
No, say wow. Feels like it was. Okay.
You ready for where they need to trade him?
Can't wait to hear this.
Chicago. But not for Derrick Rose.
Oh.
I have no idea who they think they're bringing back in this deal.
Oh, he didn't say?
No.
Oh, no, that's not allowed. That's not allowed.
But I said, why?
That's not... No,
No,
you don't have to fit. That's not allowed.
Well, I kind of interrupted him as soon as he said Chicago.
You should have did that. You should have let him finish.
No. So I interrupted him. I said... I did exactly this. I went... Wait, hold on, I'm not done yet. 'Cause first I had to, like, make sure that this was real. And I went... But wait. So Russell Westbrook plays the point guard, and you think that he should be traded to a team that already has? Why the fuck would the Bulls want Russell Westbrook when they have Derrick Rose already?
You should have made him say for who.
And he goes, because he's leaving anyway.
All right.
And everybody that thinks he's leaving thinks he's going to the Lakers. Why would the Bulls trade for him? If he is definitely leaving, and he's going to go, because everybody thinks that the whole Love Westbrook thing is going to reunite in Hollywood.
Of course.
But I thought that was crazy. I was like, and they were like, he plays better at the two. And I was like, hey, you can believe that.
What he does? When is he?
I'm just telling you what they say.
It's a good thing I wasn't there for this conversation.
Yeah.
I probably would have gotten in trouble.
I was like...
Where was this?
I was one of the guys I play with.
Yeah, okay. Good thing.
I was like...
It's a good thing I wasn't there. Was this before you played or after?
No, it was after, so I got to go home.
Okay, because I probably would have I
couldn't sleep that night.
Yeah, I probably would have got ejected for I would have got ejected for like a flagrant 2 or something like that.
I couldn't sleep that night knowing that somebody was out there thinking that could happen.
Wow, the Bulls. That's different.
Yeah.
Tell you what, dude. The more and more I watch that dude play, man, he is nasty.
Westbrook?
Oh my goodness.
No, the thing is, though, is for some reason, and I mean, I know this isn't true, and I believe that you know this too, but for some weird reason, people still believe that Kevin Durant is better without Westbrook. And now, I understand that Kevin Durant went on a tear while Westbrook was out.
Did anybody see the playoff series against Houston last year?
How about Memphis?
Well, that too. Well, they barely beat Houston, and yeah. Did
I think it's because he did so much better this time around.
Yeah, but it's the regular season, though, man.
This
is the other thing that kills me. These people, the NBA, listen, we watch basketball, we watch games, but that a lot of half the stuff that happens in the regular season is kind of, I'm not saying it's meaningless, but you forget about a lot of it once the postseason.
There's a lot of different aspects.
I'm so tired of that was a statement game.
There's a lot of different aspects though that are involved in regular season games.
For example,
that people don't think about. I mean, number one, the bad teams also play in the regular season.
Yeah.
You're not focused in. In a 7-game series, you're completely focused on that one team.
But the thing is,
back to back.
For example,
road trips,
the Heat. The Spurs beat up the Heat pretty good. LeBron had 19 points, and someone we know was shooting their mouth off about all this hoopla. It's a regular season, man.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get technical, didn't the Knicks blow the Heat out twice last year in the regular season? And I think they beat them 3, and then they beat them again. I think the Knicks won 3 out of 4 meetings last year, and 2 of them they blew them out of the gym. So what does that mean? Just,
I didn't have an answer.
No, I know, because there isn't one. Nothing. How many years ago, the Cavaliers when LeBron, they were 62 and 10? No, 62 and 20, and they were beating everybody.
Huh.
And then the postseasons came
They
along.
lose in the second round.
Yeah, and the rest is history. They were beating they blew out they blew out the Lakers on Christmas Day. And I believe the Lakers won the championship that year. So it's like, it doesn't really mean as much as and my favorite was, and I'll never forget this, and you probably remember because I put up a Facebook status about it, and everybody was like trying to kill me but they knew I was right. So the first year of the super team, the Big Three, the Mavericks beat them in the finals, and obviously after they won the championship, we know they lose Chandler, they lose Barea, a lot of those guys. The Heat play him on opening night, and the Heat blow him out of the gym, and everybody's going crazy. And I'm like, you do realize that that's like half the team that they played in the playoffs, right? Like, you realize that, right? It's like it's not even nowhere near the same team. And everybody was like, they still won. It's like it's first of all, it's the first game of the regular season, and it's a completely different team. It's not even close to the team that they play in the playoffs. So it's like there's a lot of things that happen.
It's not only that, but the Heat had a way more motivation.
Well, yeah, but people were talking like, oh yeah, they shit on the Mavs. It's like, yeah, they did, but they didn't because it's not the same team. Like, did the Mavericks even make the playoffs the following year?
Yeah, barely.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't the same team. That was when Mark Cuban decided to
unload
to get cheap. No, he got cheap. He didn't want to spend any money.
He unloaded everybody.
And then I guess and then I mean, is there anything else? I mean, I don't get me started because listen, I'm serious though. There's just like certain times, like the regular season, it's like it just doesn't. There's just a lot of things that go on that just don't mean anything.
Certain people have a certain logic where they overrate single moments, single games, small sample sizes.
It's like, come on, man, it's the regular season.
And we know who those people are.
Yeah, oh yes,
and we know what that logic is.
Yes. We'll have to can we put that? Can we put that on the screen? Can we put that on the screen too?
I'm just saying.
And we'll make sure he watches the show.
People they look at things in such a simple-minded way where they can't see the big picture. We talked about this before the show. Yeah. They're so simple-minded they can't see the big picture.
Yeah. I mean,
and you got to think.
And then let me just stop now because I'm gonna get really upset. I'm gonna get really angry. I'm gonna just stop. Can we change subject?
Yeah.
So
how was your day?
It was alright. So, there's an interesting thing we can touch on for a few minutes before we end the show. So a lot of people think there's going to be a lockout. Another one.
Oh, you guys are bringing this up already?
Yeah, definitely.
It's time for another 3 more years.
So, it's good to plant the seed now, So when it happens,
can't talk about in the off season.
No. So when it happens, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they're doing this again." You and I can just look at it. I mean, because I said it day one. I said it. It's like so basically. But you know what's funny? I wanted to say this, and I'll say it on our show because I was going to post this in our infamous NBA chat group. I was going to post this, but I'll just say it here.
Should we shout out the group?
Yeah, please do.
I'm saying shout out to the group.
Yeah, shout out to the group.
Yeah. Anybody that's watching they can request to join the group, right?
That is true.
Yeah. Put up the link.
Yeah, definitely. We should definitely do that. So
if you guys want to come join the group.
Yeah, I was gonna join. I was gonna post this, but I'll just say it on the show. You know what's really sad? If there is another lockout, I think this is just gonna be like a recycled thing that happens every 4 or 5 years, where they're gonna get at this impasse, and you're gonna have your owners over here, your players union on this side. You have your owners that want this, that, and the third, and the players are just basically like, no way, we want, and they're gonna sign a deal that only half the owners are happy with again, because I don't think there's any way to make those little market owners who like the Milwaukee. No, I know we pick on Milwaukee, but goddamn, the Milwaukees.
Well, there's no way. Pick on them. It's just.
But there's never going to be a way to make them happy, because I think you mentioned it in the last show. Like the Clevelands, the players don't want to go there.
Well, here's the thing.
And there's no way.
If I told you, hey, here's a list of 30 cities. Or think about the NBA cities. Well, technically, there's only 29 spots because 2 of them play in the same arena. But if I listed them in order and said, there's a couple different things that people look at. Well, first you have to look at the destination. you know, then it's like just based on location, you know. Now remember, you have to live here from October to April, you know, or April, you know, to June, depending on how good your team is, and you have to live here, you know. So just what are the states that you'd want to live in? You know, of course, at the top of the list are going to be, you know, well, I mean, just not even basketball wise, you know, you just think of the Florida. You know, it's the winter time. You want to live in Florida. You want to live in Atlanta. You want to live in Texas. And two of those states, by the way, Texas and Florida, income tax. You know, there's no state income tax. You know, you got, you know, New Orleans is in the south. Even Memphis in the south. You know, Phoenix. You know, the area's nice. All the California. You know, you got like all these like beautiful south. You know, the nice weather. You know, the Carolina. You know, Charlotte. You know, you have all these destinations, you know, and then you add in, you know, the other factor. Okay, well, you know, now they're NBA cities. So you got to think about market size, you know, LA, New York, the heritage in Boston and LA, you know, Chicago, you know, which now, you know, even though it's, you know, it's cold as shit, you know, in the wintertime, but at least you're in a big market. You know, you can add Toronto, which is a large market. You know, of course, the downside is outside the country and it's going to be cold as shit, you know, but at least it's a large market. So, I mean, you start adding these things, and you start looking at all the positives of all these cities, and then you have to look at all the teams that don't have any of them. Minnesota, Milwaukee, Cleveland.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And then it's like, and the only reason why I didn't name certain, I wouldn't add Portland to it, only because basketball-wise, they have awesome fans.
They have awesome fans, always have.
And that's why Seattle worked. I mean, yeah, it gets cold, but their fans are awesome. Like, you know, I know they don't have a city, but you know, when they did have it...
You mean they don't have a team?
Yeah, they don't have a team. But, like, when they did, you know, the fans were great. Yeah. But it's like, you know, Minnesota, Milwaukee, Cleveland... Well, Cleveland's been a little better since the LeBron era, but... I mean... Like, their fans, you know, I mean...
Listen,
Detroit...
You're not telling me anything... No. See, Detroit's a little different, though.
They have a little heritage.
Because they had heritage.
But...
Yeah, no,
that team has to be good, though. Like,
and
that's the thing, though. It's like Milwaukee. You know, if Milwaukee, let's say, you know, they draft like, you know, some like amazing, you know, one of these guys that becomes, you know, turns into even better than we thought they were going to be, and Milwaukee's like contending for a championship,
and they keep him.
Yeah, I'm just saying it. Let's say Milwaukee in the next 3 years is contending for a championship. Those arenas will sell out.
Yeah,
I mean, the fans always come out if you're winning.
Yeah, if you're winning, that's
But I want you to go look at these teams when you're losing. I mean, New York still sells out. Toronto sells out. The Lakers still sell out. You know, even the Clippers were terrible attendance-wise.
Yeah. No, I know.
You know, I mean, Miami is a destination, but those fans don't come out.
Yeah, they don't, yeah.
But at least it's a nice destination.
Yeah,
they have something to sell.
There, Orlando, yeah.
Well, Orlando is a destination and fans come.
Yeah, fans go. That's a big market. That's a big market.
And it's a big market, yeah. I mean, you gotta look at all these different aspects, and it's like there has to be something that levels it. I mean, that's why I always preach bird rights. I think the bird rights should be stronger in favor of, you know, what they call the home team, like to keep their guy.
What do you do? 2 extra years?
Yeah. And a lot of money.
Maybe, you know.
But I'm just saying, like. I don't like the idea of a hard cap. I love the soft cap system.
No, I know, but
then you can use bird rights. At the mid level, I've said it 1,000 times. It has to go. It only helps the good teams.
Yeah, but do you think the players? But this is what I mean. You're gonna have this impact
for
the players, where the players are gonna want it, and the owners are. So that's the thing.
Well, of course.
So they're gonna sign a half-ass deal, and then 2 or 3 years into it, like this one, they're gonna be talking about lockout again because they're not happy. It's just.
See, I'm reading though a lot of the reason why I think there's definitely going to be a lockout isn't even about the things. It's more the blood in the water. You know, the whole Billy Hunter situation, and like they're all kind of like, you know, usually CBA negotiations start the day after they sign. You know, here's the signature. This is our deal for, you know, they signed it for 6 years, and then it's the next day you start talking about the next one.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, well, you know, this is what we have. Let's start talking about what we want for the next one. So hopefully we don't have a lockout. Well, there hasn't been a discussion yet because there's no president of the Players Association right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I'm sure they'll. Yeah. I don't know. It just. blows my mind how people are all like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they're actually." It's like, well, I mean, because the thing that cracked me up is like, who was it? Mark Cuban's got a big mouth, but he came right out and said it. I voted against the CBA. I didn't want to sign it. And of course, Dan Gilbert, he's got nothing to lose because they're the Cavaliers.
I've been waiting for a Dan Gilbert opportunity the whole show because we always mention Dan Gilbert.
Well, yeah, but but the thing is, like, he's going to open his mouth because he's got nothing to lose. Of course I didn't want to sign the CBA. It's like, of course you didn't want to lose it because, but it's, the
only thing, I don't want to hard cap, but there's only one thing about the hard cap that would help the small markets is eventually those destinations, those teams with heritage, like all those big markets, eventually there's going to be a point where they just don't have enough room left. Yeah. And if you want to make money, you have to go somewhere else.
The other thing is, but it's like, at it,
so eventually, all the spots will fill up, and all the good players are going to go to Miami and New York and Orlando and all the Texas teams, the California teams, and Chicago, and then there's only going to be so many spots left, and they're going to be in Milwaukee and Minnesota, and that's where guys are going to have to go. But it's going to suck when it comes down to, let's say, the hard cap's $80 million, and Milwaukee's, what if they draft this guy who's great? They're at $70 million. They suck, and then it's like, well, we can only offer you $10 million. And then, let's say New York just happens to clear, and they go, well, we can give you 15. What are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to stay in Milwaukee for less. No, you're not. Even if New York also sucked, you're moving.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. It's one of there's obviously going to be a lot of, there's going to be parameters of whatever they decide to do, but I don't know.
It's a couple years away.
But the fact that they're talking about this already, it just doesn't surprise me at all. Because I said it the day they signed the deal that they have now, that we're going to be going through all this again. And then you're going to have, and going into it, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to have all, where, the owners come out and bash players bash the owners, and it's just going to go back and forth until they get something done. So, don't be surprised.
It's a couple years away.
This will not be the last time we talk about this, by the way.
Can it be for a while at least? We have a couple of years to go.
That's true. All right, mate. Okay. I'll say a year.
You'll give me a year on that?
On that.
How about all next season we don't talk about the CBA? Or at least the next one.
Unless they bring it up. Unless it's brought up again.
Yeah. So, Adam Silver, it's because, what it is the reason why it's being brought up now is Adam Silver just took over, and he's already talking about things that he wants to do.
Yeah,
the replay center's coming next season. Oh, it is.
So I won't be able to make fun of it.
It's going to be in New York, they said.
So I won't be able to make fun of the NBA anymore for hour-long instant video replay sessions. Yeah. When we're watching it on TV going, oh, that went off.
Oh, you got my message. I saw the rules, 2 minutes.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Well, 2 minutes.
Look at it.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so...
But here's the thing. The reason why it takes so long is the 2 minutes haven't started yet. We have to make a call on the floor. Clock hasn't started yet.
Okay.
So we can sit there and talk about it for 2 minutes.
And then say,
okay,
white ball.
Yeah.
Now we're going
to go to review.
Oh.
So now you have 2 minutes to look at the screen.
Horrible.
So they spend 2 minutes looking at the screen.
Yeah.
And then once the 2 minutes over, they just have to stop looking at the screen.
And they look at the same replay 10 times that we're watching on TV. And
10 times.
And it's clearly off of the red player.
Yeah.
And then, so after they watch it, then they huddle up after you and I.
There's no time limit on that. There's no time limit on the huddle.
And you and I are sitting here going,
it's off red.
It's off red. It's white ball. Why are they talking about this? The announcers are saying it. They're showing it on the big screen.
Fans are chanting, white ball.
And then the best part is sometimes they come out and they still get it wrong. That's the thing. That's what blows my mind.
You saw that college game that it happened. I forgot who was in it.
Yes, I do remember. Yeah, they just
know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
They watched the replay forever.
And
then the coach said something in the he's like, "What's the point of instant replay if you're gonna get it wrong anyway? You might as well just get it wrong.
Just get it wrong. Let's go. Let it go." Ugh.
It was definitely the replay that made it worse.
Prolonging the agony. The other thing they want to do is they want to up the age limit,
20,
which is going to be a very sore.
I think that's one of the hardest arguments.
That's going to be a real sore subject.
I think the two hardest arguments. And then this
moron. And shout out to this moron Mark Cuban saying that, they shouldn't go to college at all. They should just go straight to the D League. Now, I agree. The problem with I understand where he's going because I heard the interview and he came. I don't know if you heard the interview or not. He came off sounding. He came off in the interview sounding like a complete jerk.
He's not completely wrong.
But the thing is,
he is pretty right.
But if they were going to do that, they would have to. Because
they have to alter the way the system works.
Yeah, let's face it. How many guys go to the D League and get called up to the NBA and succeed? I'm talking like.
Yeah, but here would be the difference. And I think this is what he was getting at. This is kind of what I think. Well, I think the age limit should be 21 in the NBA anyway. So I think 20 is a lot nicer. I think right now it's 19. They want to go up 1 year. I think it should go to 21. I've been saying that. But Mark Cuban thinks that they should be able to go in the D League first.
Yeah.
So that means that he's not disagreeing with the draft age limit. So how about this? What if the draft age was 21? Okay? But you can join the D League at 18.
Yeah, but that's not what he was getting at.
He was getting at that. He was saying these kids should be able to come out of high school and join the D League. Then they want to expand the D League to 30 teams and have each team have a farm system.
Well, that's what they should have that anyway.
That's what the NBA wants to do. They want to have a complete, because right now like one D League team is it's like two guys, two teams and stuff on it. Only a certain number of teams have their own. But it's like, but he wants. So let's be real. A lot of these kids aren't actually going to college.
Yeah.
They signed up at a school to play basketball. Yeah. They're not going to class. They're not learning anything. They're not actually doing their,
well, shame on them, but yeah.
Well, I'm not.
No, I know. So,
but the thing is and he wants the D League to help these kids go to school, because the NCAA isn't actually helping these kids, and that's where he made sense.
Yeah.
He's saying give these kids a job, which would be basketball, and then involved in that job is they go to school, and then the kids actually get a freaking education.
So who's paying for them to go to school?
That's what he said. The D League.
The D League would pay for them to go to school?
Yeah. I think that was kind of where he was going.
Yeah, but would they make that much? Would they make enough money in the D League to pay to go to school, go to college though? That's the thing.
What if guys like LeBron James were in the D League?
But I don't think LeBron would have.
He was 18. He wasn't old enough to be in the NBA.
Yeah, but
he would have had to do 2 years in the D League if the age limit was 20.
Yeah, I don't know the way I heard
the way it is now, all these kids are in the NCAA.
The way I heard the interview is he think they should be drafted straight out of high school, and if they're not ready to play in the NBA, they should be able to go to the D League, which makes sense. Now, obviously,
that's what there already is now. Well, except for
but a lot of the times they get put on the big club right away, and it's sink or swim. Let's face it.
No, they put a lot of players in the league.
Who that went in the lottery this past year was playing in the D League?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. Every year they talk about statistics of guys that have now succeeding in the NBA who played in the D League. You're not getting superstars.
Well, I'm talking lottery.
Players.
Lottery.
You have solid role players that came out of the D League.
Yeah, but I'm talking guys that were drafted like top 10.
But I'm saying they want to expand the D League. What if you had to be a certain age to be in the NBA? Because that's what he was talking about. That's the way it came off to me.
Because in the perfect world, you'd be able to draft an 18-year-old kid, and if he's not that super exception, the LeBron, the Dwight Howard, even
the way it sounded is
because I heard the interview. The way he made it sound
the way it sounded. I think we took it differently. Because the way it sounded
the only reason
he didn't talk about dropping the age limit. He was saying in lieu of the NCAA that doesn't help the kids, these kids should instead be going through the D League where they can help them. And he was talking about making them take like real life classes, not just going to math and science. No, I know, but taking classes that actually help them in life.
Yeah. But the interview, I heard the interview because he was on Mike and Mike.
I know.
So the only thing is, he obviously he said now for the rare, the rare extreme, the LeBron, the who else?
But for that case, you would have to let them play in the NBA first.
Yeah, that's what he said. For them, like a guy like LeBron would not.
They shouldn't do it that way.
Why not? That's how they do it in all the other sports. So why can't they do it in the NBA?
I'm just saying that I think that they want to expand the D League.
But if you're good enough to play in the NBA, you should be able to play in the NBA. Why should LeBron have to play in the D League? Just why?
Because they're trying to pump up the D League.
Yeah, but you're not going to put a super talent in the D League if he can play in the NBA. It doesn't.
If you
it
want to
doesn't make
expand the
sense.
D League, you got to do something to attract the
Yeah,
people there.
but you're not going to do that. Listen, there isn't a league in the world. Sidney Crosby did not start out in the AHL.
And
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, we're not talking about other sports. We're talking about the NBA.
Yeah, but he wants to use the same model as other sports do. That's my point. That's my argument.
You have to do something to attract fans to the D League. Because right now, I mean, if you turn on, and I don't know if you watch the games.
Listen, I know exactly. I understand that. But you're not going to take a guy who is good enough to play in the league,
I mean,
and have him play in the D League. You're not doing it. You're not telling LeBron. You're not putting LeBron, especially when you're the Cavaliers. He's not playing in the D League. If
it was the NBA's rule, you have no choice. If the NBA said you have to be 20 or 21 to play in the NBA, but you could be drafted at 18 and put in the D League, the Cavaliers would have no choice.
Yeah, and that's something that
to play 2-3 seasons in the D League.
And that's something that I don't think the owners would ever go for, because you're hurting the NBA fans, because if you're Cleveland, you're hurting. You want LeBron there to put rear ends in your seats. So you're telling me I can't have this guy come play on my team? So I don't think that's. I think the way that the owners would go for it is they would adapt this system that the other leagues use, where you can put the guy down there.
They can do that too,
but like if he's good enough to play, he's going to play in the NBA, no matter how old he is. That's just the way I think. If they can come to something, because that would be like the middle ground.
To expand.
Like if I draft you and you're good enough to play in the league, you're playing in the league.
But everybody who's drafted in the first round always starts in the NBA. If they stay in the NBA or move to the D League is different.
Yeah, but I'm talking if you're that extreme case where you're good enough to play in the league.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like Kendall Marshall is actually here. Let's use him. He was a lottery pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Started in the NBA. Then he moved to the D League. Now he's back in the NBA because he got called up because the team was desperate. And of course he's
playing all right.
He's playing all right in a shitty team.
Playing pretty. Where is he? Lakers, right?
Yeah.
Who drafted? I don't even remember. Oh, Phoenix did. Wasn't he? Was he? Yeah, Phoenix.
Yeah. And then he went to Washington.
He was in a trade. Yeah, he was in the trade, and they dumped him. Yeah.
But
now someone like him, it helps because, he wasn't NBA ready. But guys that can play should be able to play right away. That's my only argument.
Well, they have to do something too, because they're trying to expand the D League. You have to do something to expand it.
Like I said,
obviously take kids out of high school and give them a larger.
I think that middle ground is going to be where they're going to do it kind of like they do in other sports where. But I also think if they do that, they're going to have to make the draft's going to have to be more than 2 rounds.
Why?
Because a lot of the farm teams, they're like draft prospects. Like you draft guys, you put them on your farm team so they can play. You only draft you need more than some of these teams draft 2 guys, if that many they get 2 guys to draft. You can't fill a team with 2 guys. I'm just throwing it out there. You're gonna need more. You're gonna need, and that way you can develop more guys, and maybe you find more. I mean, you say they find role players now. They'll find more because they'll be able to play in the D League.
I mean, if you think about if the NBA, where there's 30 teams, had 30 farm league teams, 60 teams, 15 players, you're talking 900. I mean, of course, the NBA right now, the D League combined probably have something like, I forget exactly how many D League teams, but I'm sure they got something like 700 already. I mean, the NBA, at a 3rd round, you know how long that process is going to be?
With what?
The draft? How long is it already?
Would it really make it?
And how many second rounders turn into anything? I mean, and then you want to add in that.
Expand the D League.
And how many unsigned guys can you name that have been successful in the NBA? I can think of one off the top of my head.
I know there's more, but that's how you expand the D League. That's where all those guys go play. That's how this whole. I don't know. We'll have to talk about this some other time because we don't have.
I know, but I mean,
we don't have enough time.
If you're trying to get people to actually come to a game, we got to put some kind of a talent on there.
I don't know. Like I said, we don't have enough time to talk about.
I mean, if you develop a team based on second and third rounders, I'm sorry, but your team's not that interesting.
All right. Well, I don't know. We're gonna have to talk about this.
I mean, would they have to implement a rule where maybe second and third rounders have to play a season in the D League?
I don't know. Like
I'm just saying.
No, I don't know. Like I said, it's gonna. This is we're gonna have to do a lot of thinking about this and kind of draw it out because there's a lot of. I don't know. Yeah. So we'll have to.
Or maybe I don't know.
So.
Or maybe the third rounder, just a third rounder. Third rounder has to go to the D League.
You can do that.
For at least a season.
But the thing is but see, you really can't even do that though because, like I was telling you how Mark Stein said on the phone, remember they were making fun of everybody because everybody was trading for these second round picks.
Yeah.
It's basically, I mean, it's not a free, I mean, cause for all these like.
Well, everybody likes the second rounders because they're non-guaranteed.
Yeah, and
you cut
even
everybody.
And even the ones that you keep don't make any money.
Yeah.
So, why wouldn't you keep a third rounder on your team to not pay him anything?
But I mean, are you really going to stack your NBA team with third rounders?
No, you're not going to stack them. I don't know. So, whatever. I don't know.
I mean, that would work. First round's guaranteed, second round non-guaranteed, third round D-League.
You do that. I don't know. We'll have to talk about this more. I think we should close the show on that note.
On some CBA talk in depth.
CBA,
We weren't joking around into some like serious ass shit.
I know.
Wow.
All right.
That got intense.
Yeah. That was intense. It was just very.
Well, it was more intense in the beginning.
Yeah, well, yeah. Shit got real.
We went from Sixers jokes and Knicks talk.
Shit got real. So. All right. Well, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
That's some bonus CBA talk. We did.
I wish some other people we know would read a little bit about the CBA. Not gonna name anybody. Just gonna.
At least the Cliff Notes.
Just gonna throw that out. just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah. You don't have to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just the Cliff Notes. No, the basics.
No. Try reading some of it though. There, because you can search through it in sections. What's Larry Coon's? His website is it's dummy proof. You can just search. I'm just saying.
I don't think anything's dummy proof. I met some stupid people in my day.
All right. Well, I'm just.
You know where I work. I see idiots all the time.
I'm just saying. I mean, his website is.
And speaking of idiots, you can always join the group.
Yeah. Maybe we can put. Can we put the link to that on the page too? The CBA, Larry Coon CBA page.
Yeah.
All right. So that's two. So we got to put the link to the group. The link to the Larry Coon CBA page. Oh, and we got to get the logic going across the screen too. That's 3 things we got to do. And can we Photoshop a picture of Phil and JR's truck? Can we do that?
Him hanging out the window.
Alright, there's a joke. That ends the show. That's it. Wow. That's the one. That's it. That's it.
On that note, thank you for tuning in to the White Snoop T-Rose Show. Wow.
Oh, it was fun.
It was good. How about this one? The White Snoop T-Rose Show, where that just happened. You guys have a good day, night, and future stuff.
See you soon.
The White Snoop T-Rose.
The White Snoop T-Rose Show.
Watch more videos like old episodes on YouTube and subscribe to youtube.com/WhiteSnoop44. Follow and tweet us at 44entertainment, at WhiteSnoop44, at T-Rose_28. Use the hashtag Snoop Bro Show. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/WhiteSnoop244, facebook.com/TheWhiteSnoop44. Email us at WhiteSnoopProductions@gmail.com.